Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I'm very upset that I have to make this video. I have to tell you this. I'm very upset. And I learned something, and every time you learn something, you have to tweak and your views on certain things, or you reach different conclusions. One piece of information might open so many ceilings for you. It's going to open the doors for you of knowledge, of, now I understand why that happened. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Vitaly Klitschko. You are familiar with Vitaly Klitschko, with his brother Vladimir Klitschko, right? The two brothers, very good boxers. They fought, I think, for Russia, and then they fought for Ukraine or Soviet Union, Ukraine, something like that. They say they are Ukrainians. Well, a friend of mine, a French guy, I will not mention his name, I will mention only his initials, a friend of mine on Facebook, sent me a piece of information about the Klitschko brothers. In this case, Vitaly Klitschko, the mayor of the Ukrainian capital of Kiev, or maybe the Russians, however you want to call it. My problem is, I did not know Klitschko was Jewish. Did you know that? Well, for me, that means a lot. Why? Not because he's Jewish, I don't have anything against him in particular, or because he is or not. It's because I understand more about the dynamics in Ukraine. So, I thank Mr. F.T. These are the F and T. Okay, fuck teats. Okay, Mr. F.T. All right, for the information he gave me. And he gave me this piece of information. He said, personal life, early life of Klitschko. I didn't know that. Now I know that the Jews consider themselves Jews. One of the two reasons, qualifiers to be one, is to have a mother, a Jewish mother. If you have that, right there. It doesn't matter if you are as far as I read about that, you can read about it. It doesn't matter if you practice Judaism. It matters if your mom was practicing Judaism, they say. All right, so here it is, Vitaly Klitschko. And this is the guy. I never thought, I knew he got like me, a big, you know what I mean? But I said, come on. Big doesn't make everybody that, So I went down, he gave me, and let me show you actually what he sent me. I have to make sure that I don't show you his name or her name. So this is what Factits FT, that's his initials, sent me. All right. This is exactly what I received from this person on Facebook. Right there. And I was like, I have to verify that. And I will explain why this changes things in my views, tweaks it. And I understand why Klitschko is the mayor and Zelensky is the president. Zelensky is also Jewish, just by coincidence. But the Ukrainians are dying against their brothers, Russians. But these guys are, all right, let's go and see. At one point, and I will explain, I didn't understand why Klitschko is protected in the fight with Zelensky. I thought it was the Germans with their guilt that was pushed on their heads after the 1945 by the same okay, so let's go and first look over this. But it's not that. It was not. So let's go to his early political views, sporting, personal life. This is what I received from this FT. And I said, okay, Klitschko's father, we don't care about the father anyway. And in East Germany, Vladimir's mother, was... Okay, no problem. Part of Vitaly's family died during Holodomor. Orchestrated by whom? I would like you to go and check Mr. Lazar Kaganovich. All right? Don't forget about the Georgian Stalin. I want to look into the Jewish Kaganovich and see who he was. All right? Do that for me. You know exactly what I mean. Hey, thank them, I guess, for whatever. While his great-grandfather and family members of the female line of his mother died in the the only one, Holocaust. Got it? And I was like, damn! It's not funny at all. Not funny at all. It's like you have, let's say, you're a Chinese family, and I don't know, your father is appointed as a, let's say, a white boy or a black guy. Do you see anything? Or you have a black family and you have appointed the white, or if I'm white, right, dad in charge of you. First question would be like, why? Why? Why should be like this? Well, I explained to you why. Because as I got to know in Romania, and the communists in charge at that time were also Volodymyr's, all right? Let's put it mildly. They appointed different racial, or maybe not racial, but if you take that, maybe it is a race, but ethnic groups in charge of the majority. Why? At the time when they need to suppress the population, the majority population, the Romanians, they will activate these guys who would have no problem ordering of those guys. Why? They didn't like them. You know what I mean? Anyway, so what's going on here? What did it change? Later today, actually after this video, I will make a video explaining the corruption in Ukraine right now, where Zelensky supposedly is in big doo-doo and what's going on over there. And the big corruption, I will explain it in short by showing you a picture, and then I will make this video for Rumble only. Why? Because I'm going to say some truth that YouTube cannot take the truth. Cannot take it, cannot face the truth, all right? Therefore, I will make a video notifying you, hey guys, I posted a video, this is what I'm going to discuss. So, in short, this is the corruption in Ukraine, and you will understand why the entire West is pushed to fight the Russians. For this reason, right here, I will explain on Rumble. So look at this. New Voice of Ukraine need to clean up by Monday. Midas corruption suspects were tipped off ahead of raids. This picture, this guy has a Ukrainian shirt. But look at him. All right. So this picture should tell you exactly. This is Mr. Zimmerman, I think, is whatever. Zuckerman. So Mr. Zuckerman with the main suspect, they are currently in Israel. All right. I don't need to tell you anything more, and they're friends of the Zelensky. You understand? I will explain to you what's the corruption about in Ukraine and why these guys push the West to destroy the Russians in order to have leaders and energy guys who will suck dry Russia. All right, back to Klitschko. So Klitschko is of a minority. Zelensky is one. Zhmyhal is one. Yermak is one. Reznikov is one. Umerov is one. Umerov is Tatar. I'm talking about the Ukrainians, leaders. The only Ukrainians that you got over there is Budanov, who is a CIA agent, is on the payroll. Budanov, the head of the intelligence service, the military intelligence services. That's one. And the other one is Biha. Biha, who is a foreign minister, but he's irrelevant because Yermak is actually in charge. All right? So that's a clique of Sugative in Romania. A clique that sucks dry Ukraine, and they want to suck dry again Russia. So Klitschko all of a sudden is there. I didn't know why he was protected. They just threw some jabs, Zelensky and what's his name, Klitschko, and I was like, under the normal circumstances, if Klitschko would be, let's say, Zaluzny, General Zaluzny, as far as I know, maybe I find out tomorrow that it's also, was untouched. If Zaluzny would have been the mayor of Kiev, he would have been gone right now with corruption and everything else. He would be jailed or like he was already taken from Ukraine and put over there in London in house arrest. That's how I call Zaluzny. And Zaluzny is going to be activated in the future if Klitschko doesn't cut the line and gets to be the president. He's the most famous. It's going to be between Zelensky, Zaluzny, maybe, and then you have Klitschko. The battle will be like this. Zelensky is going to go away with his luggage and millions, hundreds of them, of love, okay? He's going to go, and then we're going to have, again, these guys. You're going to have Poroshenko, a little bit over there. They make competition. Otherwise, it would be too obvious. If you have Zimmerman and Zelensky, Stein, and Yermak, all of them being the only candidates, it will be even obvious for the imbeciles. In this case, you insert imbeciles like, oh my God, nah, it's just one of 20, but they always win. In this case, Klitschko might become the president of Ukraine after this, not Zaluzny. And if Zaluzny is going to be also owned, I have no doubt. Remember this picture. These guys are laughing in your fucking face. And as Dr. William, I'm not going to tell you more, said, this is their downfall. After a while, they like to work from behind the scenes. And people don't see them. Why? The native, the host country, the host nation, doesn't see really who's in charge. Because they see at the United States of America and look, hey, there's Trump. Trump is what? Is Irish, Scottish, whatever he is, but he's owned by these guys from back. When you look at the United States of America, look at, for instance, at finances, look at, for instance, at his Lubnik, the, he's the Secretary of Commerce Secretary. He's always there. And not only, Mr. Stephen Miller, my favorite, is still there, and many others. So they don't have to show up, but now they do. That's their downfall. They become too observable. You see them and you say, wait a minute, even if their media covers, wait a minute, what's going on here? And I have Mr. Faktitz, FT, who tells me, Emil, now you understand? Oh, now that I understand. I understand why Mr. what's his name? Klitschko is untouchable by another of his buddies, his tribesman, Zelensky. That's why. That's all. And the problem is the Ukrainian nation must understand they are owned. The same as Soviet Union and all those nations in the Soviet Union were owned by an alien. Okay? That's what it was. And then they lost control in about 60s to about 89, 90. And then what happened? The Soviet Union broke down and then they took over until about 2006. They were the oligarchs. The 40% of the oligarchs were Klop. They're just good with the money, we say. Well, they don't cooperate based on ethnic. No. Mr. Dr. Kevin McDonald is wrong. All right? I want you to go and Culture of Critique. Go and read that book. One of many. All right? I interviewed Dr. Kevin McDonald here in this program. I don't know, a year ago or so. Nevertheless, maybe in January or February, I think it was. Here you have, my friends, you will understand why the Russia must collapse. Because the right guys do not control the Russian people's resources and themselves. They need a Klitschko in charge of them, or Zelensky in charge of them. That's what I think it is. It's too obvious what's going on in Ukraine, and the Ukrainians don't see that. Now, if you think that's okay, then I would like Israel to have some Iranian presidents and chief of Mossad, or Lebanese guy, or a woman being, chief prime minister. But you don't see that. That's why it's called Jewish state. That's why. And when they say, oh, no, you're not the Jewish state. You're just the state of Israel. But that's not apartheid, okay? Not at all. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I urge you to look for that video. Today I will post it with why the corruption in Ukraine and who's who, what's what, and more important than that, why the real reason for the Ukraine war is. What they want from the Russians. And I made one or two other videos explaining that clear. But right now, with this, it's I mean, this is the same thing with the guys with Berezovsky and with Abramovich and all those guys in Russia from 1993, 1994 until 2006, when they all fled to London, and some of them are still around. I can say more, but I don't wanna. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So thank you, FT, for this piece of information. I didn't know, and I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed that Klitschko does that, because I thought that he did it through himself, not being doors opened, pushed forward, everybody to the side, Mr. Klitschko Stein comes. And now, from now on, I'm going to refer to Klitschko brothers as Klitschko Stein. As Zelensky Stein, Reznikov Stein, Yermak Stein, because that's to be funny. I mean, I don't think they have a problem to be identified. I mean, they're bragging about it. And when they brag, everybody sees it, and then they say, how about Arbeit? You know what Arbeit means in German? Work. I'm on work like work, not Werk. Arbeit, not like you work. All right? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. What a piece of shit I am. Thank you, FT.